At 95, Clint Eastwood finally breaks his silence. And what he says about Rob Reiner isn't what anyone expected. For decades, Clint Eastwood has been known as the man who spoke very little, both on screen and off. A quiet force in Hollywood. A filmmaker who preferred long pauses over long speeches. But now, after more than 70 years in the industry, Eastwood is finally opening up. Not just about his career, but about where he believes Hollywood has gone wrong, and why Rob Reiner represents something much bigger than himself. Born during the Great Depression in San Francisco, Eastwood grew up constantly moving across California, following whatever work his family could find. That unstable upbringing shaped him into someone self-reliant, observant, and emotionally reserved, traits that would later define the characters who made him famous. Before Hollywood ever called, Eastwood worked as a lifeguard, lumberjack, and gas station attendant. He wasn't handed success. In fact, when he first signed with Universal Pictures in the 1950s, executives dismissed him as having no charisma. He was dropped after only minor roles. But rejection didn't stop him, it refined him. His breakthrough came with the TV series Rawhide, where he played Rowdy Yates for 8 seasons. Still, Eastwood wanted more than television fame. So in the mid-1960s, he took a risk that would change film history, traveling overseas to star in director Sergio Leone's now legendary Dollars trilogy. Films like A Fistful of Dollars and The Good, the Bad and the Ugly introduced the world to his iconic man with no name, a morally complex anti-hero who spoke less, but meant more. By the 1970s, Eastwood had become one of Hollywood's most bankable stars, thanks in part to Dirty Harry. But behind the scenes, he was quietly evolving into something greater, a director obsessed with restraint, realism, and emotional truth. That vision reached its peak with Unforgiven, a film that dismantled the myths of violence and heroism in the very genre that made him famous. It earned him Academy Awards for Best Picture and Best Director, cementing his legacy not just as a star, but as a storyteller. Now at 95, Eastwood says the biggest change he's witnessed in Hollywood isn't technological, it's philosophical. When asked about Rob Reiner, the acclaimed director behind beloved character-driven films, Eastwood doesn't respond with anger. Instead, his tone is calm, almost reflective. He acknowledges Reiner's talent, his timing, his understanding of character. But according to Eastwood, somewhere along the way, Hollywood stopped asking questions and started delivering answers. In his words, art used to be about curiosity. Now it's about certainty. Eastwood believes the divide between himself and Reiner isn't political, it's creative. Where Reiner seeks to make statements, Eastwood says he has always aimed to raise questions. He insists his job was never to tell audiences what to think, but to show them who they are. There was once a time, Eastwood recalls, when filmmakers with completely different worldviews could work together, challenge each other, even disagree, without turning that disagreement into a moral judgment. Today, he believes that space is shrinking. And while he makes it clear he doesn't hold personal grudges, Eastwood worries about a younger generation of filmmakers who may feel pressured to conform rather than create. Because, in his view, fear has never made great art. At 95, Clint Eastwood isn't trying to win arguments. He's thinking about legacy. Not box office numbers. Not awards. But the freedom to tell honest stories, even if they make people uncomfortable. And perhaps that's the real truth he's revealing, not just about Rob Reiner, but about the Hollywood he once knew, and the one he believes is slowly disappearing.